All right, folks, today I want to talk about saving America with XRP and gold. That's right. We're going to talk about it. XRP, I do believe, is going to be a reserve currency of the new financial system, and gold has always played a role as a reserve monetary currency, additional utility, same things that play with silver. But I think that it's mostly going to be XRP and gold, which are the only options that America has to maintain its reserve currency status and the standard of living that we've had in the past. So let's break this down. And this was actually spurred on. It was a fantastic question asked in our Discord weekly call yesterday. I want to give a huge shout out to Dawn in our Discord group. She asked the question, what does this reset look like as far as, what currency we're going to use, what's going to happen to our personal debt, business, mortgages, what's going to happen to our paychecks, our 401ks, pensions, right? How does this actually roll over to a new system? And we started, going down this rabbit hole, going through the conversation. And eventually I got to the point where I said, we have to separate out the two issues. You have the debt and you have the currency. And that's why I say that we're in a debt, currency, and liquidity crisis. Now, we talked about, will this happen? Will that happen? And you can debate whether or not all that stuff's going to happen, what debt's going to be forgiven. I made the point that you look at what has happened in some states, they're already making gold and silver legal tender. They're removing income taxes. They're removing other taxes. And they're, restoring, I think, the righteous opportunity, the righteous opportunity that we all want, right? We want to do things the right way. We just want freedom, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's very simple. That's the American dream to me. It's not getting a government handout or having them take care of us. But when it comes to a debt and a currency reset, okay, we have two issues. We have the debt, which is at almost nearly 33 trillion. We're going to hit that $33 trillion mark probably this month. But we also have about 125, 150 trillion in unfunded liabilities, Social Security, Medicare, and all those liabilities are not going away, right? These are, promises that have been already guaranteed by our government, and they're expected to pay them out. The thing that we're seeing right now is a strong resistance to a new system coming out. This is why they sued Ripple, tried to stall up XRP, because XRP is that currency that can step in and truly level the playing field, not controlled by anyone. But let me get to the Discord call and the question that I got from Dawn and how I answered it. I said, at the end of the day, we can debate whether Nassar Jassar is going to happen, whether all these ideas are going to happen, debt forgiveness. But at the end of the day, the only way that we can functionally make this happen and keep the reserve currency status that we've had here with the United States is gold, and the other is XRP. So that's why I titled this episode Saving America with XRP and Gold. I truly believe that these are the two assets, the two currencies that the United States must use as strategic weapons, just like David Schwartz from Ripple described XRP as their strategic weapon. I believe that they need to cut a deal with Ripple, our Treasury Department does, to add XRP to our balance sheet, adding it as a reserve, and then additionally being able to use it in the free market, in the private sector as a currency. It's not a security, according to Judge Torres, and the law of the land as it stands today is that XRP in and of itself is not a security. So let's be allowed to use it. Which, by the way, right before I went to fire up this recording, I see that the New York Department of Financial Services just put out their new regulation list and basically took off XRP and Dogecoin from their list of, coins that are in compliance, essentially. So New York, in a completely political move, decides to take XRP off their list, even though Judge Torres just ruled that XRP in and of itself is not a security. This is, they're trying to keep us out of XRP, and they're trying to keep us away from gold. Now, we've talked about gold. We've talked about BRICS. How much of a threat is BRICS? How much of a threat could a BRICS currency backed by gold be? A BRICS currency backed by commodities? How would that compare to the United States dollar and our offer? Well, here's the thing. When it comes to financing our debt, we need folks to use our currency and buy our bonds, essentially. Well, if they no longer want to buy our bonds, if they're dumping our bonds like we see Saudi Arabia and BRICS doing, right? And then they want to move away from our US dollar, there becomes no need to actually hold or store value using the US dollar. that's where we lose our reserve currency status. And so the question that we've been asking in regards to BRICS in this conversation about the United States, who has the gold? Now, America, by and large, is well ahead of every country as far as supply of gold. I think they're at well over 8,000 tons reported, which that's a big, what if? We need to verify that. 8,000 tons of gold, and I think the next closest one is Germany. Switzerland's up there, I believe, as well. And I believe that down at number 4 is Russia. I think Russia has the 4th largest holdings. You guys can fact check me in the comments if you want. But there's some BRICS nations that are up at the top as far as gold holdings. Iran's up there as well. And so the question that we've been asking very simply is who has the gold and who has the XRP? I believe that they are the two assets that the United States could use to maintain our reserve currency status by, one, not backing $1 to 1 ounce of gold. That's not going to be the case. But anchoring our currency to a weight of gold or to a basket of commodities. There's plenty of good natural resources here in the United States. Whether or not they're going to allow us to get it out of the ground is another story, right? Whole other conversation. And this is why you're seeing oil-rich countries that are looking to trade outside the dollar, and they're trying to use DLT neutral systems so that they can trade with each other without having to use each other's currency, because they don't trust each other either. This is the whole problem, which brings us back to square one with this reset. The United States has had this role because of the petrodollar, the standard that we've had since 1971. Nixon took us off the gold standard, but we went over to the kingdom and we negotiated to create the petrodollar standard. So that's why we've had the American dream for the last 50 years. Now, we just concluded a Jubilee year and we're about to reset this whole system. And for me, it's very simple. He who has the gold will make the rules in this new system. There's one caveat, though, that I want to say. The United States may choose to continue enforcing their will, enforcing their standard upon the world through the end of a barrel of a gun. And as an American citizen, a very concerned American citizen, I pray to God that that's not the case. I want to bring our troops home. I want to get out of other people's affairs. And I want people to use our currency because it's the best currency, right? I want people to do business with us on a level playing field where we can use a neutral currency like XRP to be that bridge between us. This is where you talk about being able to actually prevent world wars, which we're already in the middle of the next one. This could be the way to save this, right? And I believe that when it comes to the US, maintaining the reserve currency status and being able to fix our debt and currency crisis, we have to have gold. And if we had some XRP, that would help us out as well. The only way that we're going to be able to print back all these, pay back off all these liabilities, the 150 trillion in debt, the 33 trillion debt, national government debt that we're about to hit. The only way to pay this off is through inflation, by printing more dollars. We're not running a budget surplus, which, side note, last month we did run a budget surplus. We were set to have another $245 billion deficit, but we actually ran a surplus because towards the end of the month, they had to add back the student loan debt that Biden wanted to forgive, but the Supreme Court struck it down, which added that student loan debt back as an asset on the balance sheet of the United States, bringing us back to a budget surplus. So kind of ironic how that worked out, the reasoning for why we actually ran a budget surplus, but we're still over, I think well over one. We could be approaching a $2 trillion deficit this year. Just the interest on our debt payments alone this year is well over $1 trillion as well. It is not sustainable. And the only way to pay back these liabilities, the 150 trillion plus of unfunded liabilities and commitments that we've already made, is to print dollars, which destroys the value of the currency. And so it's this perpetual cycle that we found ourselves in. There's no easy way out. And so you do a combination of debt forgiveness. I do think that that is coming. But then the other way is that we say, hey, we got a lot of gold, right? And maybe we're going to go buy some more gold as well. And then the other way that we do that is we sit down with Ripple and we get some XRP into the hands of our treasury. And they can use XRP, even if they just simply used XRP as a reserve currency and rode the wave up. I think that that could play well for the United States government. At the end of the day, we're going to have to swallow this pill, which is not going to be a pleasant one, but we have a serious problem that's not going away. We can keep kicking the can down the road, or we can find solutions. I believe, and I pray, right? I'm not praying that my debt gets forgiven, right? I signed the dotted line on that debt. I didn't get coerced into anything. And I have very little debt, by the way. I'm not waiting for that debt to be forgiven. I'm not waiting for that to happen. If it happens, we get Nasara Jasara, God bless it. It's going to be fantastic. If we don't, I pray as an American citizen that we start to reset our currency, restructure our debt, and we show the world that we have the gold. We're going to back our currency and peg it to gold. And maybe we could use some DLT technology to prove, to have audited, financials and backing, proving that we have the gold to back up and the claims that we have against our dollar. And then I think that the other thing that would put us ahead of the game is to take a serious allocation of XRP from Ripple. And I'm not saying that so that my bags get pumped. I'm saying that because I want to save our country. I want an opportunity for my children and your children. If you appreciate this content, if you want to see America get saved with XRP and gold, let me know what you think down in the comments, and let's smash that thumbs up. And I'll make sure to drop some more updates for you guys later today. So stay tuned by subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next one. It's all at my website, ZachRichter.com. God bless.